Hi everyone, it's Maru. This time we've come to the Osaka Museum of History. This is an essential place to learn about the history of Osaka. I hope to discover a lot about Osaka's history here. Let's go.
Otemae's Japan trip.
Osaka Museum of History opened in 2001. It is located very close to Osaka Castle. It is a museum where you can experience the history of Osaka from ancient times, the Middle Ages, early modern times, and even modern times. This time, we will introduce ancient Osaka. Our guide will be the curator, Mr. Tora.
The Osaka Museum of History is a high-rise museum in a building. After entering through the entrance, take the elevator up to the 10th floor. As you go down from the 10th floor, the exhibits go from older to more recent eras. The 10th floor exhibits ancient Osaka. Although it is not widely known, Osaka was the capital of Japan in ancient times. You will be able to learn about what it was like there. The Osaka Museum of History exhibits half models and half real materials. On the 10th floor, there is a reconstruction of the time when there was an ancient capital called Osaka Naniwa Palace. The reconstruction here is of a place called the Daigokuden.
The Daigokuden is where the emperor conducts government affairs and ceremonies. In other words, the history of Japan was moving forward here at Naniwa Palace, where the Daigokuden is located. There is a way to fully appreciate the ancient capital, Naniwa Palace, that can only be experienced here.
You can see Nanawanomiya Park from the 10th floor. It's a park of ruins. You can see the white stone platform. That was the Daigokuden Hall. You can see the round stone that remains there. That is the cornerstone here. So there was a pillar like this. We are now standing on top of the Daigokuden Hall that once stood there.
The Daigokuden Hall of Naniwa Palace was built during the Nara period, about 1,300 years ago. This stately palace was adorned with even more magnificent decorations.
I came across this shibi thing. This is a model, and shibi are the things that sit on the left and right sides of the roof. You can also find the shachihoko in what is now Osaka Castle. It's said to be the prototype of the shachihoko. Who knew something this big could be found so high up?
Otemae's Japan trip.
Naniwa Palace was once the capital of Osaka. In fact, two capitals were built in the same place, one in the early period and one in the later period. What we've been introduced to so far is the later Naniwa Palace, built during the Nara period. So, what kind of capital was the early Naniwa Palace?
It was the capital during the Osaka period. In 645 AD, a political reform called the Taika reforms took place. The setting for this was Naniwa Palace during the early period.
Throughout Japanese history, the capital has been Kyoto or Nara. So why was Osaka chosen? What was the reason?
There's a geographical reason for this.
The Taika reforms were a turning point in Japanese history. The stage where these revolutionary policies were carried out was Naniwa Palace. So, why was Naniwa Palace built in Osaka? He introduced us to something that proves this.
What you see here is a Hanawa figure from the Kofun period. This Hanawa figure is a wooden boat. As this shows, although it's hard to notice nowadays, Osaka was actually close to the sea. To put it more simply, the sea was close to where we are standing now, the Osaka Museum of History. In other words, the reason the capital was established here was because it was close to the sea and it made it easy to transport goods. Furthermore, when visitors from overseas came to the area, they would board a boat to enter. When they saw Naniwa Palace coming into view, they would be surprised to see a magnificent palace. It made them think it was an incredible place. It is said that this was one of the effects that the castle had.
Naniwa Palace can be said to have laid the foundations for the international city of Osaka. We asked tourists who visited the Osaka Museum of History, built on the ruins of Naniwa Palace, about its appeal.
We are interested in knowing more about the history of Osaka because we have just arrived by train from Kyoto, and later we also want to visit the castle, and it's nice to have the view of the city, and I think there are some interesting exhibitions here.
I heard it's a beautiful museum and you can see old remains of the city and the temple like you have over here. It's beautiful. I'm very interested in the history and I think this museum is excellent. Honest, what I like the best is the construction. The construction of the buildings, how everything is built. It's so different than what we're used to in West Europe. So the roof and the pillars and everything, it's different than what we're used to. So I'm very much interested in that. I'd like to see that. It's an interesting history, Osaka. Yeah.
Because I like to understand the history of the place that I'm visiting. I like to see what things look like in the time, so it's good to get an understanding of what people wore and where they stood and how they were behaving during a certain period of time.
The ancient floor on the 10th floor has replica models so intricately detailed that they even fascinate foreign tourists. Come and visit Osaka Museum of History, where you can travel back in time to ancient times and experience the beginnings of Osaka's history.
I hope you come.